To make a decorative leafy rim pie crust, you roll your pie dough out and line your pie pan. And for this, you trim the dough to about 1/8 of an inch from the edge of the crust. And cover your pie and put it in the refrigerator while you make your decorative leaves so it doesn't get too soft. Gather the scraps up that you just trimmed off the pie and form them again into a disc. And if they're still firm enough to roll out, you can go ahead and start rolling them right away. Or if they're a little bit soft, just wrap them in plastic wrap and put them in the fridge for about 15 minutes so they firm up. So now the scraps are firm and ready to roll. You're going to need 32 leaves for this recipe, and you should be able to get all of those leaves from these scraps. But if you can't, don't worry. You can just steal a little bit of dough from that second disc of pie dough that you made. You roll this out exactly the same as when you rolled out the crust for your pie. Make sure it doesn't stick. Rotate it. Flouring is necessary until it's about 1/8 of an inch thick. The shape of this pie dough doesn't matter as much since you're going to cut out leaves. I've made a little leaf template, and I'm just going to put it down on the dough and use a paring knife to just cut right around the template. And you can squeeze them pretty close together. If you have a leaf-shaped cookie cutter, by all means, you should use it. And if you feel confident in your leaf cutting ability, you can also just freehand the leaves. Once you've finished cutting out all the leaves, pull your scraps away. Now you can use these scraps to make more leaves. So just gather them up in another little disc, press them back together. They're a little soft at this point, so I would just put them back in the fridge briefly. And then use a small offset spatula. I like to dip the tip in flour so it doesn't stick. And transfer your leaves to a baking tray lined with parchment paper, or plastic wrap would also work. Now that I've cut out all 32 leaves, I'm ready to decorate them. To do that, I use the dull edge of a paring knife, and I just draw a little line down the middle of the leaves, and then 3 little lines on each side, just to make them look a little more realistic and pretty. You don't have to press very hard, it takes a very light touch. I've set aside my 8 best looking leaves to bake separately, just like cookies, and I'll use those to decorate the top of the pie when it's all baked. To adhere the leaves to the edge of the pie crust, I just use a little water and a small pastry brush. You just dampen the back of the leaf and lightly brush around the edge of the crust and gently press them on. And you overlap them maybe a quarter up the edge of the next leaf. Don't press too hard or you'll flatten your pretty decoration. And also make sure that the veins are going in the same direction. The leaves shouldn't extend too far out beyond the rim of the pie. They can just rest right on the rim there. When you get to the last leaf, just tuck it under the first one. Once you've decorated the entire crust with leaves, just chill it in the refrigerator for about an hour before baking.